Alrighty, right now we have Windsor's favorite goaltender, a former Windsor Spitfire, 2017 Memorial Cup champion, might be best known for his performance in the 2019 World Juniors, and since moving on from junior, he's been the starting goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks farm team. Michael DiPietro, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, like I said, it's a little bit of a long time coming, but just about to start the playoffs out there in Abbotsford, I believe, right?
Yeah, we got our last game of the regular season tomorrow afternoon,
Yep.
and we dictate our own fate, kind of for home ice, or if we're going to start postseason on the road. So it's kind of a big one for us.
Absolutely, man. And again, it's been a long road since then. Obviously, we remember not too long ago your days here in Windsor and beyond. But it all goes back to some early days, actually. I guess watching those Memorial Cup packages back when it was in Windsor here. I'm watching it with the family, and my mom's like, "Don't we know this kid from somewhere?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, that's my friend's son." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." They're like, "Don't you remember he used to come watch your games, Drake?" And I'm like, "He didn't come watch my games. Like, what are you talking about?" And then you go on, you're talking about how your brother was a goalie and you went to Adstall Arena, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that was me." So I say, you watched me play and you said, "I don't want to do that. I want to be a goaltender."
Yeah, something
But
like that.
small world though. It's pretty funny though, because I don't even really know your brother or your stepbrother Mark or ever really crossed paths with them since. But it's like funny that it all goes all the way back to Hadstall Arena, man.
Well, hockey's a small world, so as people say, and it is true.
It is, man. That's true. That's very true. And again, that was kind of the beginning of your hockey career, I guess, because you decided, hey, I'll throw on the pads and I'll do that too. Or how did it all go down?
Yeah, so for myself, it was my dad and I for a while after my mom passed, and my my dad and my stepmom were dating at the time, and obviously she had a son, Mark, and Mark was a goalie playing house league hockey, and Mark was 6 years older than me, so my dad and I would go watch. Like I said, when they were dating, and I was a little chunky defenseman, and I saw my brother make a save on a breakaway, and kind of there's like four people probably in the stands, but they were all cheering, and you could kind of feel like the tides turning the game, the momentum, as people in hockey would say, and I don't know, I just liked how goalie could be an X factor, kind of be the difference maker in the game, and you're the last one there, so I just kind of like the pressure that it comes with at times, and I just kind of turned to my dad and I'm like, hey, I want to make the switch, and once Dad got over the sticker shock of obviously goalie equipment and everything, he was, he bought, goaltending for dummies, and he did the best he could, kind of teaching me, the basics, and then passed me on to Brian Spearing, my goalie coach, who then passed me kind of Perry Wilson, and just kind of grew my game kind of that way. But I've been pretty blessed, coming from such a small town, and I come from a pretty hardworking, blue collar kind of family, and for us, nothing was ever really given in life. Everything's kind of earned, and just having the opportunity and the privilege to have been to places that hockey has been able to take me has been amazing so far. And like I said, it's been a phenomenal journey, but definitely with a lot of highs, but also a lot of lows too, and you find a lot about yourself too. So hockey has definitely given me a lot, and shaped me into the person I am.
That's pretty cool, man. It's a cool story. And again, like you mentioned a lot of interesting stuff there. But I mean, growing up out in Amherstburg and being coached by we have such a stellar goalie coaching specifically kind of community here. Like as you mentioned, Perry Wilson and the whole crew.
Yeah, like sometimes you get the new goalie coaches who want to kind of reinvent the wheel, and they kind of want to put their stamp on you, and I've been kind of lucky enough to work with guys who I've kind of put their egos aside, and just at the end of the day just want to help you be the best that you can be, and kind of work at areas and introduce new concepts so that your game can continue to grow. And I think honestly that's what makes a good coach. Those are coaches I like to work with. I'm a guy who's I'm not 6'5". I'm not my parents were 5-star athletes. They didn't play in the NHL. They weren't Olympians. But for me, it just comes down to hard work, and the goalie coaches I've been lucky enough to work with, obviously when I'm at home and when I'm with my club teams, they've been, really well, really kind of take me under their wing and kind of forming that athletic side of my game into a more calming game. And there's still tons of work left to do to obviously where I want to be, but for me, like I said, I'm just kind of taking it day by day and really just happy and feeling blessed to be a part of this journey that I'm on, that hockey is bringing me, and kind of opening up new paths and new relationships I can form with people in the game. So for me, working with coaches who really care about the person you are and really worrying about just kind of cultivating the skill that you have, but also adding tools to the toolbox, as we say. So it's all been pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, man. It's a great story for you, and again, just still early in the career, really. I mean, we could talk about the Spitfire stuff all day, but you're just starting your pro career now, right? So, whole new journey for you.
Yeah, it's
in a sense, right?
It sometimes it kind of gets a lot. Obviously, it gets overwhelming. Everybody knows with COVID, it kind of threw a wrench in a lot of things, and for me, it's all about the journey. And I'm a pretty impatient person, and obviously everybody wants to play in the NHL and succeed and do well and get a ton of shutouts and and you want to win. But I'm probably coming off the worst game of the season that I played last night, and it's all about having a quick memory and kind of turning the tide and make sure you're ready to go for tomorrow. And for me, it's goaltending. Yeah, you can be the X factor, but then also when the chips aren't really falling your way, a lot of people point the finger. So for being a goalie, it's all about having even keel, even mind. And I'm lucky to be still at the MSC stage in my career, but obviously I just want to be able to do well and continually to progress and become the goaltender that I know I can be, and now it's just kind of going out there and doing it.
Absolutely, man. And, obviously that's going to be pretty big topic heading into the playoffs, of course. So, but that being said, let's bring it back. We got to talk about the Spitfire stuff. We got to talk about Memorial Cup. Drafted to your hometown team. I mean, it had to have been very special right from the get-go, right?
Yeah. I think draft day, we had a bunch of family and friends over. People don't really know how the OHL draft works. It's basically a lot of rounds, but it starts early in the morning. It's an all-day thing. And, for me, I was lucky to get my name called first pick of the second round. And, everybody in the house, was kind of losing their minds, so excited, as obviously draft day is an exciting time. And, for me being drafted to Windsor, I had a strong relationship with Warren Reichel and kind of the ownership with Boogie and everything. And growing up playing with Warren's son Maddox and just kind of watching the Spitfires growing up and being able to play for them. It was truly a dream come true. And, for kids who, people have always told me, junior hockey is the best time of your life. Yeah. And, for me, it's true. Looking back on it now, when I was in junior, I was so focused on making sure to, get better each day and, I want to make the jump to pro and everything like that. But, the biggest piece of advice I could ever say is, enjoy minor hockey, enjoy where you are as a kid, and enjoy, going to tournaments. And if you're in junior hockey, enjoy junior hockey. Yes, work hard, but don't overlook it, because it goes by in a flash. And, pro hockey is great too. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun, but it turns into a business and you become a number, and it comes with all other added pressures that sometimes, you don't really foresee, but it's every step's different, every jump's different. But for me playing in Windsor, it was a dream come true. It was truly a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and I mean, great times for you too. I mean, some magical years, as we'll talk about. But I mean, good for you too, right? Like a great spot for you. Started came in pretty much a starter right away. Was there a little bit of like, we're not sure, like, holy shit, like this kid's really good, or like was it a little bit of a transition or what?
No, I think when you enter your first year, you just want to put a good foot forward.
Yeah.
Obviously you want to play well, but you want to show the coach, you have good habits. You work hard, and for me, that was the biggest thing going into camp. I still remember my first practice at camp. First drill, I literally don't think I stopped one puck. I think every puck went by me, and I was just so nervous at camp.
Yeah.
And Windsor's head scout at the time, Brian Tico, walks down to the bench. He was in the stands, and he just looks at me and goes, "Hey, Mikey, you know you're allowed to stop one." and we start laughing. He goes, "Just have fun." And, just going back in the net, just doing my thing. And, obviously the practice went better. But, I think I had four or five goalie partners my first year in Windsor. And, for me, I just want to be able to play any game. Any game that I was told to play, I just want to win and give my team the best chance to win. I'm not a very loose goalie, I guess, or relaxed goalie on game day. I'm pretty intense. I like to have fun in practice, that's for sure. But on game days, nobody really knows to talk to me and just kind of leave me alone. So, I guess my time in my first year, it was just kind of establishing myself and really instilling, the trust and making sure the coaching staff and the team trusted me when I was in the net, and just being a calming influence in there.
Yeah, well, it didn't take long before you were basically the man of the team, right? And we skip forward to the Memorial Cup. We got to talk about that. Going into that season, to that playoff, really, into the tournament, a lot of buzz around you guys for obvious reasons. But let's get started. I mean, what do you remember about all that? I mean, there's a lot going on at the time. Obviously, you guys had the break and stuff, and then you come back just ready to roar.
Yeah, losing in Game 7 in London obviously was terrible. Not a way you kind of want to kick off your playoffs. And I think it was like 44 or 46 days until the first game of Memorial Cup, and everybody's kind of looking at the calendar like, oh my God, that is a lot of days. And we kind of had the weekend off after we lost, and then we came back, and Coach Rocky came in and with all the coaching staff, training staff, and he goes, "Okay, here's our plan." And he had this giant calendar on the whiteboard. And he goes, "This is what we're doing." And he broke it up into phases, and I give him props. Phase 1 was, probably hell on earth, to be honest with you. We did, I think, 5 days on, 1 day off, and, for 2 rounds of it. And I remember my first day, I was still in high school. I was in grade 12. So, you get to the rink around 1:30, and Rocky was already in his gym clothes, wearing our St. Anne's uniforms. And he goes, "Guys, let's go. Get out, get in your gitch, and let's go." And we ran the ladder with Rocky for like 30 minutes. And for people who don't know how good a shape Rocky's in, he probably makes us all put to shame with a shirt off. So we were all sweating, and, so we get dressed for practice, and we practice for an hour, and then everyone's kind of getting off the ice. He goes, "Where are you going?" Everybody's like, "Practice is over. You're upstairs at WSU at one of the practice rinks." He goes, "No, puck's up. Just walk over to the next rink." And everybody thought he was joking, but it was a fresh sheet of ice. And then we started bag skating for 45 minutes. So I think after my first day of phase 1, as Rocky would call it, get back to my billet house, and I think I was walking down the stairs, and my legs just seized, cramped, and I just fell right down. And it was just a funny story to tell, because everybody was feeling like this. And, we kind of, in a weird way, I think it brought us all together. How difficult and how tough he was on us, and the training staff, how tough they were on us, the workouts and everything. But it obviously, prepared us in a way that gave us the best chance to win. And, I think when the tournament hit, everybody was just kind of just ready to play some hockey, and we didn't know how it was going to go. We were playing, St. John's, who kind of ran through the queue, and the Western League obviously had Seattle, and, with Barzell and everybody they had. And everybody knew how good Erie was, and I think we didn't beat them in regulation all season until the tournament. We beat them twice. So, it was definitely a magical tournament. I still look back on it with fond memories, and something I'll always remember.
Absolutely, man. A Kodak moment, I guess, to say the least. I mean, it all came into place, and it was just magic. Like you said, you guys not only physically preparing, but mentally preparing too, with the whole team, and of course Joey and Rocky's plan. That's kind of what they had talked about a lot too.
Yeah. I think Joey Garland, he definitely helped me out in my career, definitely early on, and he was a really really good guy just to talk to and bounce some stuff off of, and he's been around the game for a very very long time, and for me, using him as a resource as a young guy, just knowing how to manage the workload, that a season like that in the OHL kind of has to offer. And for me personally, I'm definitely one to be really hard on myself. I wear a loss on my sleeve. Everybody knows kind of the way I feel, and if a game didn't go so well, I'm definitely punishing myself in the gym after. So, yeah. Joey, I remember Joey pulling me aside a few times, and just go home, just sleep it off. It's a new day tomorrow, and we'll get back at it. And just those little reminders really went a long way for me. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I still have a lot of work. I have a lot of work to do on that aspect, but with having Joey as a resource has really helped me, especially in my first couple of years in Windsor. And he really meant a lot to me too.
An unsung hero, they may say. A lot of under the radar kind of guy, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of those in hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Between equipment staff, medical staff, training staff, people don't even know they exist, but those are probably the people I'm probably closest with. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And while this has happened, or better yet, after it happens, I mean, I don't know, quite the high, of course, but that's just the beginning. Like, I mean, a lot of stuff starts to happen for you too. I think that was still your draft year, right? Then you get drafted after that.
Yeah, we won the Memorial Cup, and then a day and a half later, flew out to the Combine. I was there for 4 days, and I think it was like 3 weeks to the draft, and every weekend I had a flight somewhere else, and then we had the draft, and obviously the draft was a whirlwind. It was just a really crazy time in my family's lives. My brother was moving away in September too, so he was home for the summer, kind of dealing with all this too. So I think it was a lot for my parents to handle. I had my high school graduation, and then the day after, right after I graduated, I drove with my dad to the airport in Toronto and then flew out to Vancouver for a development camp. And in hockey, it's a lot of sacrifice, and just looking back on all those years, it just kind of makes me laugh to myself of just kind of how crazy it is. And then now, just every day here in pro, it just seems like a curveball is being thrown at you, and you just got to be able to weather the storm and everything like that. But I always say it's going to be a great story to tell one day. So I'm just kind of going to enjoy playing hockey for as long as I possibly can. And one day when I can sit down with my dad with maybe a nice drink and just kind of laugh and talk about all these different experiences, because, not everybody's going to be Connor McDavid. Not everybody's going to be, obviously Carey Price. But, for me, I just want to be the best version of Michael DiPietro I can possibly be on and off the ice, being a good human being, and, just being able to enjoy this career for, like I said, for as long as I can.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's all about. And again, not everybody gets the opportunity, right? So you got to be grateful.
Yeah, no, I feel super, super blessed.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I mean, again, we're talking at this point, we're talking chronologically, we're still just in the middle of it. I mean, you come back home, play a year, traded to Ottawa. No one ever thought it was going to happen, but of course, inevitably at the end of towards the end of that season, you get traded over to Ottawa and start a run there. So what do you remember about that?
Yeah, I remember the trade. The day it came through, I was actually at the mall with a couple of teammates that were actually coming over for dinner that night. And it was around Christmas time. We were doing Secret Santa, so we were all Secret Santa shopping. And I get a call from Warren, and he goes, "I think we have a trade lined up." And I'm like, "You're joking." And then I hung up on him. And then he calls me again. He goes, No, like, I'm serious. I'm like, I'm literally at the mall shopping for Secret Santa, and you couldn't tell me this? I was just at the rink 20 minutes ago. And he goes, "No, it just came in. Like, we're thinking about taking it. I just want to bounce it off you and your parents." And obviously talking to my agent, I had a no trade clause. So just kind of seeing, what the fit would be. And Warren came over and had dinner with my family, which was awesome. Obviously, it was a very emotional time for me. Yeah. Leaving, really like my hometown, my family for the very first time, leaving the Spitfire organization. At the time, there was a lot of people in the front office that I knew very well. That really meant a lot to me. And it was funny. I think it was the Monday I got traded. that Thursday was my foundations night, Mikey's Mites, that I created for that season. So it was just like a really emotional time for me. So I was very lucky that they allowed me to fly back for, Thursday night's game, and being able to see my teammates, to do a proper farewell and everything like that. But fast forward, you have the World Juniors at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Flying back for 3 weeks in Ottawa, then getting an emergency call up to Vancouver,
Yeah.
and then being sent back down. And, finally, I finally felt kind of settled in Ottawa, probably the month of March, once everything kind of calmed down and settled down. Then before you knew it was already playoff time. And, everybody knows how well that playoff run went for us. We were, 11-0, and, unfortunately I got hurt. And was out for the rest of the playoffs and ended up losing in the finals, which was unfortunate. But, that playoff run in Ottawa was something I still look back on and laugh about. And, when I see my teammates or anybody from that team, we just said, like, it's all we talk about, like the what if, and, we could have. And, that run, just going into every game knowing that you're going to win a game, is just, it's a feeling that, you can't really describe, with the coaching that we had in Ottawa, with, the team, obviously the skill we had up front, and just the hardworking guys that just put in the time. We really felt we were special. And, like I said, playing and running through the playoffs like we did, it was truly a blast. And it was obviously a crappy ending, to kind of not be able to finish kind of what we started. But, for me, looking back on it, there's, adversity is just part of the game. And it just makes, winning a little bit sweeter. So that's all.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that was a good team, obviously, and a lot of buzz around you guys, a lot of buzz around yourself, as you mentioned, the World Juniors that year. Again, like, what a year that was, just everything happening at once, right? So let's get into that. I mean, that was a very special moment for Canada, for you, for the team. Obviously, again, not the result maybe you're looking for, but man, that was a big moment in your career for sure.
Yeah, I think, it's another pressure-filled moment.
Yeah, no doubt.
World Juniors being in Vancouver, getting drafted by Vancouver. And, fans in Canada, obviously, for NHL teams are really intense. And Canadians in general, they obviously prop up the World Juniors like they should. It's a special time of the year. I feel like it's part of our culture and part of our DNA of our country. And, for me to be able to play games at the World Junior and kind of play well and really feel like, you put a good tournament together. It was a really proud moment for myself. Obviously, unfortunately, not the outcome we were looking for or definitely wanted. But for me personally, like I said earlier, coming from a town, maybe 15, 20,000 people in Amherstburg, Ontario, in a place where people ask where you're from and they go, where? To playing at the World Juniors and having my mom, my dad, my brother, my billets there. It was truly a special time. And, it's a time where I look back on, just another thing that maybe didn't go the way you intended on going. And it just seems like there's been a lot of adversity in my career, but, for me, I have faith that one day it'll all pay off, and just being able to share in those moments. I think that falls under the umbrella of, being able to sit back one day with my old man and just kind of looking back on all the different accomplishments and different opportunities that we've been lucky enough to be a part of along the way.
Yeah, man. Again, it's what it's all about, and you gotta cherish everything you can, right? And I look at that Memorial Cup win. That was one of the craziest atmospheres that I was able to kind of be at a game, and I couldn't imagine what it was like in Vancouver during that last game there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Winning Memorial Cup was obviously a high for everybody, and that whole experience itself was amazing. And anytime you play in front of a crowd or an atmosphere like that, that when it's packed and you feel like the fans are right on top of you, and you literally feel the momentum shifting in games, and it's almost like a wind. the best way I can describe it. It's like a wind that just blows up and down the ice. And honestly, it gives you goosebumps when you look back on games and instances like that. And, it just makes you want more of those opportunities to, to play in those pressure-packed games and to kind of embrace all these different opportunities to, not only play well, but, to be a part of it with your teammates and being out there and battling, competing. And, sometimes they'll go your way and sometimes it won't. And that's just the way it kind of shakes out, no matter how hard you work. Sometimes it just doesn't happen for you. And so just being out there with my teammates battling is the one thing I remember the most. And and the outcome for me is sometimes second. In games like that, obviously you want to win, but when you're with your teammates and in your forward makes a big block, or a D makes a good breakout, or some guy just makes a really big play that may not, get all the attention of the crowd, but, definitely the boys on the bench stand up and really appreciate it. That's, that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Well, you obviously have the best seat in the house, and it's all like just cool things that come with the game, right? Like Mark got to be the X factor in front of the parents, the 4 parents at Atstall Arena, but you got to do it in front of thousands of people for the country. It's just cool stuff, right?
Yeah. And,
really
for me, like, I do it because I love it. I don't do it for accolades and everything like that. And I think, for most people, sometimes when you make the jump, obviously it's cool and you want to see kind of what social media is saying or anything. But the one thing I got to say to, hopefully if kids are ever listening or want to listen, it's just that block out the noise. For me, I don't have any social media, and it's probably the best decision I've made is just deleting it. For me, social media is nothing but, like I said, white noise. It clouds your judgment. It sometimes can cloud your opinion of yourself. People tend to judge a person, and let's say a hockey player, based on their performance, not just the person they are. And I think that's the one issue in the game today where, you go on Twitter, you go on the internet, you're going to find something you want to see, and then you're definitely going to stumble on something you don't want to see. And, for every positive thing, there's probably about 10 negatives. And, you're never as good as they say you are, and you're never as bad as they say you are. So for me, just deleting social media has been, really, really a positive influence on my mental health. And, goaltending is just it's a very pressure-packed, position. So, just kind of relieving any of that outside noise and that stress is probably the best thing for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't imagine being a goaltender and having Twitter and having your DMs open or whatever.
It's not the best. So.
No, but again, it's just it's all part of it. It's a good message to put out there, though. Like you said, it is true. And again, from there, it's helped you move on to the next level. So we talked about coming back, finishing the year in Windsor, going to Ottawa. And then the pro career starts. You start in Utica with the Comets at the times where the team was. But you had some familiar faces with you, with Jalen Chatfield and stuff. So what do you remember about getting started, moving up to the AHL?
Yeah, my first year in Utica, I kind of had the mindset I did my first year in Windsor. Just kind of going in there and, being me, being positive, being happy, but also just working hard and outworking everybody and just kind of, being the last guy on the ice and just kind of really just being able to put my work in. That was the biggest thing, especially, just kind of getting a good foot forward and kind of adjusting to the speed, but also kind of the pro game itself. Being a shorter goaltender, it's a lot of traffic, you got to navigate through. Whenever you watch a game, whenever you play a game, it's 2 different things. It looks so easy when you watch it, but then when you're in it and you're actually seeing, pucks pinball off guys or skates or, there's different obstacles on the ice that, as a spectator, you really can't understand until you're actually out there and how fast things happen. So, for me, my first year in Utica, obviously, it was pretty patterned the same first year in Windsor kind of thing. I felt really good. I felt like a part of the community. I love the people in Utica. I still do. The fans, but also I got really close with a family in Utica, and I'd go over there on Sundays and have dinner, and I'd hang out with. They had 3 little kids, and we just kind of hang out and just kind of separate hockey from life, because sometimes in the season they definitely can overlap, and it can get a lot. So.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked my first year in Utica, and then obviously COVID hit and kind of put a wrench in everything, and it was kind of disappointing, because we had a really really special team, I thought, in Utica, and it's definitely the what if kind of thing, the what if factor.
Yeah.
But I really truly enjoyed my time in Utica my first year.
Yeah, man, and again, kind of part of the game, kind of traveling and getting to live in a different. That was your first time pretty much living outside of Canada, probably, right? So it's good to do that, right?
Yeah, it was first time living on my own. It was first time living outside of Canada, new country, and for me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all of it. I loved every bit of it, and I look back on it with fond memories. Like, I when I finally was able, or I should say allowed to play games last year, being able to go back to Utica for that brief 2.5 weeks, it was probably it was the best 2.5 weeks of that whole last season.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, so it was. It's a special place, a special hockey place in my heart, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I'd like to see it out there, but obviously now you guys have moved over to Abbotsford. Staying in Canada now could be good or bad this past year, but playing in a Canadian market is always special. So what's it like out there?
Yeah, Abbotsford, it was different. For when I came out here, didn't really know what to expect. I think everybody was kind of in the same boat with COVID and everything, and it felt, I think for the most guys on our team, the first month or even 2 months, everything kind of felt just a little kind of rushed, or I don't know, just kind of different. It just kind of, everyone was kind of find their routine and kind of getting used to obviously the new rink, the new room, kind of everything that has to go with it. But as the season's gone on, it's been great. I think our fans have been fantastic, supporting us. Like I said, tomorrow's game is really big for us. We need the 2 points to secure home ice. So for us, that's going to be our focus heading into tomorrow afternoon's game, is getting the 2 points and making sure we give ourselves the best chance heading into playoffs here. But it's definitely a hockey town. They definitely have a lot of diehard hockey fans, and for me, the season's definitely been a lot of ups and downs. Not playing basically a whole year last year I've definitely felt it in my game, in my routines, and everything that kind of goes along with it for myself, for my game. So I would say the first half of the year was just obviously not ideal for myself and my personal expectations, but I think the second half of the year has been a new me, a new just a more comfortable me, I guess, in the net, you could say. Just remembering kind of game day routines, and just kind of, as a goaltender, for me anyway, routine is everything, and making sure I'm definitely a creature of habit. So, and it just makes me feel comfortable in the net. So I think, that whole year last year kind of set me back in a way of just my whole comfortability and everything, which was upsetting, because, coming off a really good rookie year, I was really excited to play some games, and but COVID obviously had different plans, and my path is a little different than everyone else's, I guess. So for me, it's keeping a positive attitude and just trying to find, not find my game, because I feel like I found it. Just staying in the bubble and just continuing to get better, because I'm a very impatient person. Obviously, I want to play in the NHL and I want to do well, and like every goalie, but just learning that patience is going to go a long way for me. And, it'll happen in time. Just got to making sure to just keep having a good attitude and being there for my teammates.
Yes, yes, sir. All part of the journey, and it's good that everything is back, rocking and rolling. We got the Calder Cup playoffs back again, finally. So, I mean, sounds like things are on the uprise for you, man. And obviously, you've already accomplished so much. And again, it's just cool to tell your story here. A kid from Amherstburg, lots of cool things that you've done, been able to do, and who knows what the future holds. So, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I appreciate it.